Black Agenda Report. I gotta start out by apologizing. First to all of you, I was one of the people who was supposed to be doing arrangements beforehand, and perhaps if I had been better on the job, I would have gotten us a bigger room. Also, I bungled the participant list and biographies and the rest of it, leading to all kinds of trouble, and that's a problem. I mean, I owe each of the people here at Black Agenda Report a lot. Their work, in great part, is why I'm here, you know, and so I owe each of you individually and collectively an apology for that, and we'll talk some more. Anyway, the theme here is how resisting Trump is not enough. When you hear about the resistance to Trump, you hear a lot of this stuff that can only be characterized as the old-fashioned 1930s United Front stuff, right? When has that ever led to a victory for the left? I mean, if you believe that there's lessons in history, find me that one, please. I'll wait. Okay? You know, and anyway, the United Front is really not united. That's a myth. That's a joke. I live in Georgia, in the 6th Congressional District, Newt's old district, the district where right now the most expensive congressional race in history is going on. The district is only 10% black, but they want every black vote out, the Democrats do, because for obvious reasons, you know. And they had an affair there a week ago today, and I was notified of it, and somebody asked if the Green Party and Black Agenda Report would endorse it. And I said, well, are you going to put us on the panel? They said, well, we're reaching out to put Susan Sarandon on the panel. And you know, she's an expert, right? She lives in Canada where they have paper ballots, right? So that makes her an expert at election integrity. I mean, I ran field operations for campaigns for 25 years in Chicago, but I'm not an expert. You know what they said to our request? They said, you're political. Okay. All right, you know. So that's how united the United Front is, you know. And so what we need to be is we need to be real visionaries about this. Like Brother Ajamu said, we don't need to dumb anything down. We don't need to dumb anything down. If somebody asks you to explain something, that's a good thing, not a bad thing. You know, if you talk to folks and nothing needs an explanation, that might be a problem right there. That might be a bad sign. You know, and anyway, we need to have visionary demands. I'll sketch out 4 places where there are possibilities for visionary demands. One of them is, we hear a lot about election integrity here. I think there's 6 workshops on election integrity here in this Left Forum this weekend. But you know what would sweep all the voter ID laws off the table at once? Okay, you know what would invalidate all the voter caging and the nonsense about black box voting? A constitutional amendment guaranteeing the right to vote. The right to vote is not guaranteed in the Constitution. And and the legal system in this country is based on Constitution worship. Okay? If it's in the Constitution, we can't touch it. And the only thing we can do is interpret the Constitution. And if it's not in the Constitution, which the right to vote is not, any sheriff, any mayor, any governor, any legislature, any election official, any county official can make a rule that interferes with your right to vote. I was an activist in the 70s and 80s. We discussed that then. And what Democrats said is, no. Amending the Constitution is hard. You know, we need to concentrate on electing good people, and the Supreme Court will take care of us. As long as we take care of, you know, and like, okay, and you see where that got us. Okay? You see where that got us. They had the moral high ground for a generation from which they might have launched a drive to amend the Constitution to guarantee the right to vote. Okay? Who could speak against the right to vote in the 80s? Who? Who in the 70s? Who directly in the 90s? But now, hey, they got it. So that's one area. Another area is gentrification. Now look here. The neighborhood I grew up in Chicago, is the neighborhood where the Olympics would have been. Everybody I knew in Chicago had a party the night they turned away the Olympics from Chicago. All right? And you know, and think about gentrification now. It's been the only economic development model ever introduced for urban America. It's like Margaret Thatcher used to say, there is no alternative. Okay? And why? Not because they're bad people per se, but because, which they are, thank you. but that's not why. That's not the cause. That might be an effect, you know. But the cause is, well, you know, what happens to property values when people of African descent are in the area? Those property values are automatically lowered, okay? What value does a stable working class neighborhood in the United States have? None, except the value that you can realize by flipping it, okay? So as long as we have capitalism, gentrification is friggin' inevitable, okay? So when you fight gentrification, you're fighting capitalism. So we've got to double down on that. And we got to say it just like I said it. It's an inevitable product of the economic system of capitalism. You can't get around it unless you can, which, hey, we can. Another area is, of course, as Ajamu and Glenn talked about, ending the wars. There can't be any compromise or any middle ground on that. You know, we live in the center of empire, and to oppose the wars is to oppose what these things are fundamentally about. I live in Marietta, Georgia, the same Marietta that is the home of Lockheed. All right, so enough said on that. The final area that we need to be ambitious about our demands on, which I never hear talked about on the left. Never. You guys are supposed to be socialists. But you never talk about labor rights and the right to strike. Right now, public employees in most of the country are banned from striking. It's illegal. Right now, it's illegal to do a sympathy strike. It's illegal to do some boycotts. And it's illegal, and definitely general strikes are illegal everywhere in the world, you see. And right now, we need to be fighting for the right of workers to withhold their labor any damn time they please. And we don't need to be fighting for it the way lawyers fight for it. Okay? The way lawyers fight for it is, I heard a guy on Doug Henwood's show a little while ago. He's the one who actually reminded me of this, you know, a few weeks ago. Doug Henwood's show is Behind the News. Google it, it's indispensable, you know. But what lawyers do is they're trained to worship the Constitution. And so they say, well, we're going to restore labor rights by reinterpreting the Constitution. No. What we've got to do if we're the left is we got to figure out new ways to creatively violate those anti-labor laws until we get ones that work for us. So those are the kind of ambitious demands that the left needs to do instead of this milquetoast garbage that the United Front wants you to do. My next to last point is that we've been right politically a lot. But where are we? But we're still relatively small and relatively marginal in many ways. What does that tell us? What it might tell us is that we have the right politics, but we don't necessarily have the right tools, the right organization, you know, the right organizational methodologies. You know, I'm part of the Green Party, and we're going to have a workshop in this room right after this one where we talk about some of that. But what we need are sustainable, internally democratic organizations that can stick around for the long term. And some of us are about trying to refashion the Green Party into a mass membership party of the left, such as we have not had since the heyday of the Socialist Party a century ago. You know, and we think we can do it. In part, one of the big pieces of it is transforming that organization into a membership dues paying organization, where the members pay dues and they're the only ones who can elect officers and that. We're charging $10 a month for dues in Georgia with a sliding scale that slides upwards. I mean, really, I've been poor, and even the poor people can move, even poor folks can move around $10 in a month, please. Okay, and if you can't, then that's all right, we'll still be our friend, you know, we'll still love you, you know. But like I said, we need to re-dream our organizational, you know, things, how we do that. Finally, Black Agenda Report's will be 11 years old in October, is that right? 2006.
Yes.
October 2006. We haven't asked you for money much in that time. You know, not because we didn't need it, but because we're just not good at that yet. You know, we're good at doing what we've done, but we're trying to get good at some other things. And so we're going to be asking you for money a lot more persistently and consistently than we have before. We're going to be asking you to forward our emails. Is anybody here not on Black Agenda Report's email list? Holy shit. How did that happen?
I don't know why I did.
I don't know why you didn't either, but, oh God.
Hey, Bruce.
Hey, I'm the guy
Bruce,
walking.
We've got 2 more minutes,
Okay.
and we're going to do the Black Agenda
I'm good, I can do this in
Report.com.
2 more minutes.
Okay.
Maybe 1 more minute. All right, well, I'm gonna have a book that you can sign, to put, you know, your address here, in, so you can get on our email list. Please include your mailing address, your snail mail address, and the phone number, please. We won't abuse your privacy, we won't do that, you know, and, hey, that's it, that's all I had. Thank you all for your patience.